Okay, welcome back to another explainer. Today we're going on a little bit of a magical adventure. We're traveling way back in time to an ancient desert to build a spectacular, glowing sanctuary. I literally can't wait to see what we uncover in this amazing story. Just imagine stepping out onto the warm, golden sands right as the sun sets over those ancient Egyptian pyramids. The air is sparkling with gold dust, and we are about to uncover a magnificent secret. We're going to explore one of the most incredible blueprints ever created. So think about this for a quick second. Have you ever wanted to build a beautiful, glowing, golden house? Seriously, imagine being asked to help build the most important, shiny, and beautiful tent in the whole wide world. We're not talking about a regular tent to just, block out the sun. No, we're talking about a majestic, glowing oasis right smack in the middle of the wilderness, a place completely filled with shining metals, colorful fabrics, and precious, sparkling jewels. Well, thousands of years ago, a whole group of people were asked to do exactly that. This whole amazing adventure actually starts in the book of Exodus, specifically chapter 25. God spoke to a leader named Moses and gave him a very, very special instruction. He literally said, "They are to make me a sanctuary so that I may live among them." And, the whole purpose of this massive building project was just incredible. God deeply desired a personal, dwelling relationship with his people. He wanted to live right there with them in the absolute center of their camp. It was going to be this constant, shining reminder that he was always accessible and, right close by. Now, to build something this spectacular, they obviously needed some serious materials. Just imagine this massive list of treasures. We're talking shining gold, silver, and bronze, brilliantly colored blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, fine linen, tanned leather, sturdy acacia wood, plus sparkling onyx stones and gems. But okay, here's the absolute best part of the whole plan. Instead of forcing everyone to just hand their things over, God only wanted these treasures from people whose hearts made them completely happy and willing to give. True generosity is motivated by love and gratitude, right? By freely giving up their wealth, the people showed they trusted God's provision way more than their material treasures. So the very first thing God told Moses to build was a super special box called the Ark. And it is truly awe-inspiring to just imagine the sheer beauty of this masterpiece. It was made of really strong acacia wood, about 3 3/4 feet long, and then covered completely in shining pure gold, inside and offside. They even cast 4 solid gold rings and attached them to its feet, so they could carry it using these long golden poles. And get this, those golden poles were placed into the rings and were never ever allowed to be removed. It was just this holy glowing treasure. Now, right on top of this golden ark sat a solid, pure gold cover. And hammered right out of the ends of this golden cover were 2 fantastical winged creatures known as the cherubim. If you haven't heard of them, cherubim are a specific type of supernatural being found in ancient traditions. They're actually incredibly famous for their role as protectors. In fact, they're the very beings assigned to protect the entrance to the Garden of Eden. So having them on top of the ark meant this was an extremely protected, highly guarded, and holy space. But what exactly do these mysterious cherubim look like? Well, in the book of Ezekiel, chapters 1 and 10, Ezekiel actually sees these living creatures and describes them in a wildly fascinating way. He says that each have 4 different faces: the face of a lion to represent wild animals, an ox for domestic animals, a human face for humanity, and an eagle to represent the birds of the sky. He also described them as having perfectly straight legs, with the soles of their feet looking kind of like the hooves of a bull, and the whole thing was gleaming brightly like polished brass. Oh, and by the way, Solomon's temple was also entirely decorated with these cherubs, according to 1 Kings chapter 6. What's really fascinating, though, is how different ancient stories actually imagine these guardians. While Ezekiel saw powerful, multi-faced beings, rabbinic literature describes the cherubim on the ark as sweet, human-like figures with wings, specifically a boy and a girl. They're placed on exact opposite ends of this golden cover, with their beautiful golden wings spread out over the top, facing each other right there in the inner sanctum of God's house. So why were these winged cherubim so incredibly important? Well, God told Moses, "There I will meet with you. I will speak with you from above the ark cover, from between the 2 cherubim." This exact spot right between their glowing golden wings was known as the mercy seat. It was literally the most secret, most holy place in the whole sanctuary. And this incredibly specific instruction really teaches us a huge lesson. Approaching God requires deliberate order, serious intention, and deep, deep reverence for his holiness. Okay, moving on. Next, on the blueprint, they had to build a beautiful golden table. Just like the ark, it was made of sturdy acacia wood and entirely covered in pure gold, with a stunning golden rim going all the way around the top. But this table wasn't just for show. It was made to hold special golden dishes, pans, bowls, and pitchers. And most importantly, it was the resting place for something called the bread of the presence. This bread had to be kept on the table in God's presence at all times, as a constant, beautiful symbol of life and provision. Now, obviously, a beautiful tent with no windows is going to need some light, right? Well, to light up the sanctuary, they were instructed to hammer a massive, beautiful lamp out of exactly 66 pounds of pure, shining gold. Seriously, imagine picking up a large, heavy dog. That is how heavy this solid gold lamp was. It's kind of mind-blowing. This absolutely stunning lamp is called the menorah, and it wasn't just, cast in a simple mold. It was hammered from one single giant piece of gold. It was crafted to look like a vibrant living tree with a central shaft and 6 branches extending right out from its sides. And all along those branches were beautiful, delicate cups shaped exactly like blooming almond flowers, complete with little rings of outer leaves and petals. 7 bright lamps were mounted right on top to give light to the beautiful space in front of it. It really must have looked absolutely magical, glowing inside that dark tent. Looking back at all these golden masterpieces, we actually find some amazing life lessons from this ancient blueprint. First, true voluntary generosity means giving with a happy, cheerful heart. Second, by freely sharing our treasures, we show that we trust God's provision way more than our material wealth. Third, all that incredible detail of the ark, the mercy seat, and the menorah teaches us that serving requires respect, preparation, and reverence. And fourth, probably the biggest lesson of all, the entire reason this glorious golden sanctuary was built was simply because God deeply, passionately desires a personal relationship with us and wants to dwell right by our side. I really hope you loved our explainer adventure today. We journeyed through the desert, built an ark protected by mystical cherubim, and lit up a golden menorah tree. Keep learning, keep sharing, and keep those hearts happy. Please click the bell button, like, share, and subscribe. And before you go, I've got a question for you. What amazing thing would you build with a cheerful heart to show your generosity to others? Let that sink in, and I'll catch you next time.